Hello, lovely souls, and welcome to Cosmo Muse Tarot. Today we are going to do a reading that is looking at what kind of change is about to come into your life. And the way we're going to be looking at this is we're going to see kind of what that change means in relation to some kind of chapter you're ending and then the new chapter starting. So like, what is that change between one kind of energy in your life and then how that's progressing into kind of like a new chapter. So a change around a new chapter, but we're going to look at what you're coming from and what you're going to. So we are going to do 3 piles for this. If you feel like you are, intuitively sensing that you're about to come into a lot of change, feel free to go to multiple piles. But just tune into how many, what you feel drawn to. Maybe you only feel drawn to 1 pile, and that is great as well. So just, check in with your intuition and what you feel drawn to in terms of these 3 piles that we're going to lay out. Okay, so, well, we have 2 that popped out. So we've got Una, we've got Bridget, and then pile 3, we have Guinevere. Okay, so check in with these 3 piles, these 3 goddesses. Feel into, the energy, the color, the pile number, whatever, maybe the phrase, easy does it, don't back down, true love. These cards will be used in your reading, but I'm not going to say how or in what capacity yet. Just to sort of help you to stay more true to intuition rather than like looking for some specific sort of outcome or association. So if you need more time, feel free to pause here when you are ready. Timestamps are in the descriptions, and you can jump straight to your pile or piles, and I will see you in your readings. Hello, pile 1. You guys chose the goddess Una, easy does it. And the phrase in this card is, there's no need to hurry or force things to happen. Everything is occurring in perfect timing. So my sense with this, because there is a goddess energy that has been sort of helping you with that, trying to help you to integrate something about not hurrying things, is there's likely been some kind of chapter in your life where you maybe have felt impatient, but have constantly sort of hit these energies that have made you go slow with something. So my sense when I was kind of feeling into this reading is this is something really long term. So I would think in many year span, there's something that maybe in your life has been going very, very slowly, where it's just for whatever reason, there's been some energy around you where if you try to hurry things, it's like you've gotten a slap on the wrist, and it's like life has continuously asked you to slow something down, and trust, and like also develop the sense of trust, like, even though I feel like there hasn't been progress, something I've been cultivating and really felt a certain energy around me to trust that this slow pace has been the right thing for some reason. Okay, so we are now going to get a little bit more energy check on how this has felt to you, what this chapter has felt like to you. So I have a tarot deck that I've divided into 3 different groupings. I've done 1 pile of just the major arcana cards from this deck, one grouping of the court cards, and one grouping of the minor arcana. So the first card we're going to pick from is the major arcana, and it's going to tell us a little bit more about the theme of what this reading is kind of about, what this change is centered around. And that might help you to pinpoint. You may already have a sense of what this Easy Does It has been about, but this court card bringing a theme might help you to pinpoint it if you still don't quite know. And I'm feeling this one wanting to jump out. So death. So a lot of transformation in your life. You may have felt sort of like a lot of things have left your life in the last several years, where you've had to learn a lot of lessons about letting go, about grief, about slowing down to understand the process of transformation, and how that is a deeply sort of internal process. So I do also sense this feeling that like it may feel like over the past several years, like life external, the world around you has maybe felt like it's falling apart. And internally, you may have developed a better sense that like all these things that seem to be falling apart in my life have actually like ignited this very transformative, more deeply felt connection to life, right? So sometimes when we experience a lot of endings, and this doesn't have to be literal deaths, but like, you know, death is sort of the ending of certain things. And I don't know, just because this is a multi-year feeling reading, I think there's probably been multiple types of endings in your life. But internally, even though like externally it may appear as though like everything's falling apart, I think you've developed a really strong inner sense of like what it means to cherish life, what it means to have a deep connection to life. And something's been transforming inside of you that's helping, that has over the past many years, like helped you to connect to like, just like a deeper sense of self, a deeper sense of the passing nature of life, that change is constant, that just sort of like how to be present with what is and cherish what is, because things never stay the same. Things come and go more easily than we often know so, right? Until we kind of go through a phase where there's a lot of upheaval, of endings, of big things kind of falling apart in life. So we're going to look now at a court card to kind of show what kind of archetype was this working on in you? What was this bringing out in you? What archetype was sort of growing in you because of this? But overall, this sense of being able to learn how to slow down to appreciate life and be present with it is what I feel this concoction of Una and death is. Just like this deeper understanding that like things come in and out of our lives more randomly and quickly than you had realized before this phase of life came in. So I'm feeling this card, King of Pentacles. Right, so this has all been kind of taking place in a way that's really developed your sense of mastery of the material realm. really having this deep understanding of like seasons of life, a deep sense of kind of mastery and perseverance around things that have been tangible in your life. Actual physical things in your life may have disappeared or come in and out of life. I can't help but notice there's like a lot of animals in this image, so you may have, gone through some animals that have come in and out of your life, and it doesn't have to mean literal death. Like you could have been through separations or something where the other person took the animal, or like things like that, or these could be representative of like children and like how to find the right sort of authority and mastery and like sharing time with children if there's been like a divorce or something like that, of like learning how to let go to co-parent and lessons around that. What else is kind of coming through in this archetype for me? I think it just like it's really developed this wisdom in you too, of just like a more pragmatic nature, whatever that means. I don't know, nothing beyond that is coming around that, but the phrase like pragmatic nature is coming through for some reason. But whatever this means to you, it's been working to develop you as like a greater sense, like it's developed like this greater sense of self-reliance on like how to be strong in the pragmatic dealings of life. I guess that's kind of how that is tying up for me. So it's really developed, whatever you've been through, it's really developed this strong ability to deal with the pragmatic aspects of life, having to learn how to rely on yourself more, learn how to share more, learn how to let go with kind of a certain strength, and kind of step into your own power in having to let go of other things, maybe. Okay, and then let's get a minor arcana card to get a little more about what this past chapter's been about. Four of Grails. Yeah, it's definitely bringing up the same sense I felt with Una, of like you may feel like life has kind of been forcing you to sit still. But that forcing you to sit still has been helping you to learn how to be more contemplative and learn how to reach more like deeper places within yourself. You may have literally learned the art of contemplation in this past chapter. Okay, so let's get a last card. What overall was the learning, like what was the purpose of going through all of this? Humor. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. That's such an interesting purpose to come out for such a heavy kind of cycle to have been through. Yeah, I mean, sometimes the way through is to reflect and find the lightness of things. I don't even feel compelled to say like to laugh at things, but to be able to reflect and find ways in which you have touched into a deeper connection to light in life, how to sort of be like the Buddha. So like when I feel this more deep and profound connection to being present to life, there is a certain lightness in that. There is a certain, like this moment, this scenario, this environment, this person, myself, is not going to last forever. Change is inevitable. So like I'm going to touch into the light of this and enjoy it with a certain levity, a certain lightness. Like, why not be in the light of the moment? And I think there can be some, some good humor then in that. Finding the good humor and the lightness in each moment. Because at any moment it could transform, it could leave. And so it's interesting because I feel like it's been a really, really deep phase you've been in, but like what you're coming out of it is like how to be lighter with life, how to just be present with it and in the light of it and in the enjoyment of it. Because enjoy it while it's here kind of thing, right? But it's taken, I think, a long time and a lot of grief and a lot of processing and a lot of transformation, a lot of contemplation, and a lot of finding your own mastery and power and competence to kind of get to this ultimate place of lightness. It's a paradox, but it's a beautiful message. So something about this phase is shifting. You're moving into kind of a new, I don't know, like it's like this, you've kind of graduated from this and it's leading somewhere else. So we're now going to do the same process over and look at what you are moving into, what this change in life is leading to. And already that is so much, that kind of connects to the lighter side of life. You have Cordelia, go outside. You've been indoors too long, go outside and get some fresh air. And I am not taking that literally that you've been inside too long. I'm looking at the Four of Grails like you've been contemplating, you've been internal too long, you've been down in the trenches too long, and now it's time to kind of take that lightness you've come to really understand, to be present in, and go out and be in the world, right? To go and do things and be present and be active and it feels more like be out in the world, but being outdoors could be a part of that. But it's like engaging life again, right? There was something really deep, internal, intense processes you've been in and a certain sort of self-empowerment you've had to step into because of, potential losses or big transformational aspects of life. But that's done and you've learned some really deep, beautiful things and come out of that with like knowing how to be in the light. And so literally being in your light, being in the outdoor light, just being engaged in life. Okay, so with this new kind of change of energy coming in, let's look at a major arcana card. So a little bit more about the theme, about kind of being more in life, out into the world. And you have the Hierophant here, Hierophant. So you may find yourself eager to join things that have traditions associated with them, more kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like prescriptive type practices. So you may find a religion calling out to you, a philosophy calling out to you, something where there is like age-old wisdoms that are adhered to and studied and followed, and there are people in that practices that hold some mastery, that hold that ability then to be kind of guides of sorts. So it doesn't have to literally be sort of like a religion. You may find yourself in a whole new culture where there's like, cultural teachings, cultural hierarchies, cultural traditions that you find yourself really drawn to. It could be practices like diving deep into yoga, right? There are a lot of spiritual teachings about yoga and people that are have devoted their life to it that provide a lot of beautiful counsel through that philosophy. It doesn't have to be any specific thing, and just, like religions, deep philosophical practices, coming into a totally new, you may move overseas or something, and it's like a totally new culture that you're learning their ways. Whatever it is, there is something that you're coming into a more structured, practiced kind of tradition as you kind of engage the world. And it wouldn't surprise me, coming from where you've come from, like having understood the power of transformation and the preciousness of life, like wanting to find something that has deep wisdoms associated with it, wanting to kind of direct your energy to some kind of philosophy and practice, or something that has deep roots in it, to give you a certain perspective on life and stability in a perspective, right? Okay, so let's look at the archetype this is going to kind of be working on in you. That one wants to come out. We have Knight of Grails. So a little bit more, coming out of like this energy that had been working to make you more empowered and masterful in your sense of self, into a more impetuous, excitable energy, but one that's deep at the same time, one that's more like touching into a more kind of poetic, creative aspect of you, but one that has freedom to explore, to experiment, to make mistakes, to be impetuous. But yeah, this quality in you that's a little bit more free, a little bit more wild, a little bit more cocky even, but in this kind of emotional, creative, deep way at the same time. Okay, so let's get the Minor Arcana card to see a little bit about the environment around this. And we've got 5 of Grails. Yeah, I think this is you looking to re-engage life, looking at, this new change coming in is helping you to look at the areas of life that are still full, the areas of life that are still beautiful and precious and available to you and hold growth opportunity. In the 5 of Grails, there are 2 spilled cups that the person often sort of focuses on, and for her, we're seeing that like someone's leaving, and it's like this grief. And so I feel like you maybe have gotten sort of hardwired to be looking at the things that have left, because there's maybe been a lot of that. And so this next phase is trying to teach you to look at what, there's always going to be things leaving our life. So how can you look at the areas that are trying to get your attention for growth? This is working on that side of you that can always see where life is wanting you to live, right? Instead of focusing so much on what's gone. So yeah, there's a lot of energy in this new cycle of like trying to engage your energy towards growth, trying to engage your energy toward being involved in life, but it may be, it might take a little bit of knocking around of life to enforce that kind of different focus. But yeah, I feel this new phase really trying to engage you to look at where life is currently. What is growing currently? What is life trying to lead you to currently, right? And getting you out of focusing on expecting loss, right? Expecting things to fall apart, so this energy is trying to help you to change expectations, to look for growth, to look for happiness, to look for the light, to look for what is going right. So it's like trying to rewire. You have had to go through this phase of going through a lot of transformations and endings. And that does just hardwire certain expectations if these things happen over and over. But yeah, this next phase is going to try and rewire that a little, to have different expectations, that life is now about growth. Life is now about deciding where to focus, and recognizing that there are a lot of beautiful things going on, a lot of full cups in life, a lot of and with this Knight of Grails, like a lot of creative depths for you to now express and create with, right? So engaging this more creation aspect of you, but I do think it's going to take some training to like rewire expecting creation versus expecting destruction. Okay, and what is sort of the overall purpose of this kind of new change coming in? What is this journey ultimately about for you guys? Filling this card. Freedom. I love that. I possess the power to free my will to create my own happiness. And talk about what I was tapping into with the Five of Grails. Freedom to choose what you focus on. Freedom to choose what to expect. Freedom to have like greater power over where you place your focus, how you engage life, what you expect from life. And a new expectation, the freedom to expect life to work for you, expect life to be fruitful, expect life to grow. And so I feel like it's like, yeah, there's a rewiring going on here to wire into you the freedom to expect the best, expect beauty, expect fullness, expect thriving. And something in that is very freeing to you. Yeah. So really potent change coming in. It feels like quite a flip of the coin, right? Coming from a real deep, intense learning of connecting to, a deeper kind of sense of power of what life is, and finding the light in that despite maybe a lot of grief, and moving into this much more kind of like in certain ways free, but in other ways like finding some kind of beautiful belief or system or practice that gives you kind of the security and foundation you need to explore, to feel free, to rewire a certain sense of like growth and creation in you. So yeah. All right. If this resonated, I always appreciate support. Likes, shares, and subscribes are an easy way to do that. Always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. And I wish you guys the best on this shift, this change of energy that is coming in. And my expectation when I did this is like you're kind of in that space between right now. So this chapter is done. This chapter is still maybe like incubating, but it's like trying to grab onto like, you know, what is about to birth here, what you're about to step into, what this change is that may already kind of be unfolding. But it's imminent, right? It's happening rapidly already. You're already moving this way and away, you know. You already have both feet out of this, and it's like a toe is dipped into this. So little by little, you're kind of stepping more into this new chapter. All right, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. Have a beautiful day wherever you are, and I hope to see you in future readings. Hello, Pile 2. You guys chose Bridget for your goddess. Don't back down. Stand up for what you believe is right. So this reading is all about a change that is about to take shape in your life, and how we are going to kind of read into that is by looking at what you have been into. So what is changing, right? What kind of chapter have you been in? You know, like we have lots of chapters playing out at one time, but there is some kind of chapter in your life that you are completing. And so looking at what that is, and then like what kind of new chapter that is leading you into then, and we'll look at that as well. So to start, Bridget, don't back down, stand up for what you believe is right. This has to do with like being in some kind of phase and some aspect of your life where you've really worked to connect to what it is that sustains you. What's the source of your energy? How do you connect to things that inspire you? How do you tend to your energy to keep it, healthy and sustained and lit up? And then how do you stand in your own kind of power and boundaries and inner knowings and whatnot? So there's been some kind of chapter where you've really learned a lot about that, learned a lot about who you are and how you need to use that in the world, or be yourself in the world in a fierce way. Okay, so I have a tarot deck that I've divided into 3 categories. I've segregated out the major arcana cards, the court cards, and the minor arcana cards. And we're going to use that to see a little bit about what this chapter has been about. So we're first going to get a major arcana card to see a little bit more about the overall theme of what this has been about. And my intention when this reading came to me is this is like something that's been many years, right? A many-year cycle that is about to shift for you. So, some aspect about that, because the goddess Bridget came up, has been learning about how to like connect to your source, know how to feed that source your light, and then how to be that source in your world with the right kind of boundaries. And then we have the Magician, and so like how does that help you, like knowing who you are, knowing what sustains you, and knowing how to engage, put yourself into the world in that really from that true place of your pure core and fire and source. You've been learning a lot about that in order to know what it is even that you've wanted to manifest in your life, what it is you even want, and then how to go about using your power to manifest in life. So I think like it might all be coming together at this moment, even though it seems like there's kind of like steps to me in this of like, really even figuring out who you are, and then from that, what you want, and then from that, how to manifest what you want. And I feel like almost all at the same time, it's all clicking in. So you may suddenly start feel like you're starting to connect to this ability to bend life to your will, right? To make life look like what you want it, how you want it, where you're wanting it to go, who you are, like who you are in the world. I think you're just kind of stepping into that kind of power. And it's like everything's coming together at once of like truly knowing what sustains you, what your core energy is, how to care for that, how to feed yourself the right inspiration, how to express your inspiration, and how to stand in that, your particular light with courage and power and boldness, and allow yourself to be seen, right? And then what to do with that, how to manifest from that. It's like all of it's clicking in at once. And then Maiden of Grails is kind of like the archetype in you that this has been working on. And that makes sense, that Maiden, because this is really like a core thing connected to understanding your sense of self, and what you even want. So the archetype in you that this has been connecting to is that real pure essence of you. And tapping into this almost feels like the inner voice, like your intuition, your inner voice, listening to your heart. So like the archetype that's been worked on in this chapter is like how to tap into that inner you, how to listen to that inner you, how to know what your intuition is, how to know what that inner voice is, and how to be quiet or still in the right ways to hear it, how to connect to your heart, and how these things really connect you to your essence and your source. So you've really been working on some true fundamentals of yourself in this chapter. And really learning how to turn your core essence energy on and stand in it and be fierce in it and strong in it. And I think you're just barely starting to understand how to manifest in it because of knowing who you are and what you want. Because you've now developed this archetype that knows how to connect to your essence self and all of these deep source qualities of self and voices of self, right? And then we have 10 of Pentacles, and something about having gone through this chapter is like what you've gotten out of this is something that has the potential to create your legacy in life, to create kind of legacy capacity. It doesn't have to be like financial wealth. Legacies can be a lot of things, but it's like when you deeply know who you are, what sustains you, what you want, and how to manifest that, you can create legacy in the world. And so I feel like you're really stepping out of this chapter that might have been sort of like experienced as unstable, because this feels so much about like reconnecting to who you even are, knowing who you are, right? And that can be a weird thing to kind of like at some point recognize that you don't really know who you are. And so having to dive into this deep work of like reconnecting to just the core of self. It's such, deep fundamental work, and it can be scary work to do, and some people never really do this work, to be honest. But when you do this work to truly know your essence, your core, how to sustain that, how to care for it, how to stand in it, and you know what you want with the Magician, right? You know what you want, and now because of that, you know what you need to do to manifest. This is like having your eye on the prize, knowing exactly what you want and what to do to get it. That is legacy building. And that legacy building doesn't have to be wealth. It doesn't have to be fame. What you've found that from your true essence, your true authenticity, your true core of what you want in your life could be such a simple thing, or it could be a huge thing. It doesn't matter what it is. But when you find the courage and the boldness to claim your authentic path, your authentic wants, it just is, it's so powerful. And it is some kind of, there's some kind of legacy capacity coming out of this. Okay, let's get a last card about this chapter you are already stepping out of. It's already kind of done. Overall, what has been the overall kind of lesson here, or the journey? What has it actually been about under the surface of things? Growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. Yeah, so it's just like a lot of self-development, a lot of just tuning into personal growth. Who am I? Where am I going? What do I want in life? Why? And that also isn't always, to do that work of really understanding yourself and self-development is in co-creation with where the universe is right now, right? The universe is always shifting. Our world is always shifting. So it's like you do constantly have to rediscover yourself because of that. So like, okay, so this is the world I'm in now. And what does that mean for my self-development, right? And so you have met that moment. You've met that moment and you've had a lot of personal growth, and you're now in this position of like, or at least like on the precipice of just like really knowing who you are and what you want, and recognizing this huge amount of self-growth that's taken place, a deeper, huge growth in your consciousness and awareness has arisen. And it's, so I think coming out of this chapter, it's like, it'll be interesting to see what comes, because that might talk a little bit more, like I feel like what's coming, what chapter you're about to step into, what the change is about, is now kind of like you've done a lot of work to get to this point of even knowing what you want your legacy to be. And I feel already that this next chapter is going to then be like, okay, so let's look at this, what the legacy is, right? So a little bit more information about the journey around legacy building, right? Okay, so we're going to do the same process all over on the other side of the screen here to look at the new chapter that you're about to step into, this new change of energy that's coming in, change of focus. Beautiful. Aphrodite. There's a little glare on that, so I'll hold it up. Aphrodite, inner goddess. Awaken the goddess within you through dance, self-care, and appreciation of your divinity. Yeah, so you've really found in that self-growth and self-development, you're now really stepping into some self-love. It's taken you a lot of work, years and years of work, to really understand who you have become in life, who you're becoming, who you are now. And you've found it, and it's time to legacy build, and you're just stepping into this much greater love for self. And so this much deeper desire to just start expressing yourself out of this deep self-love, a deep self-worth, a deep sense of feeling your energy and sense of who you are is just beautiful. So it's just time to, express it, to use it to make your world beautiful in your eyes, right? I love this. So something about just feeling the beauty of yourself, and that the world then meeting you beautifully, right? So experiencing inner self and external world as more beautiful and more creation oriented. Okay, so let's get a major arcana card, a little bit more about the theme coming in for this new change of energy. We have the Hanged Man. That is very interesting in relation to Aphrodite. Let me look at this card a little closer. Interesting. This to me is just like being like because you so strongly know who you are, hence what it is you want to manifest in life. It's almost like this knowing coming through of like, that's the work I have to do. That's the hard work. And the universe will meet me at that juncture and respond to that. And so what I am supposed to do now, it's like I did the work in the last chapter. Now I can just trust my knowings and just be in my beauty and the beauty of life and surrender and allow the universe now to take over. So I feel like this new chapter is learning a lot about surrendering, just being in the beauty of life, knowing who you are and what you want, but letting go of control and allowing life to organize around that clear knowing that's authentic, and so it's magnetic, right? And so learning a little bit, this chapter I think we'll be learning a little bit of like how to let go of control, how to let things be easy, how to trust the universe. When your heart is right, when your self-awareness and knowledge of self and your effect on the world and others is right, the universe will then pick up the work at that juncture. And so there may be a little bit of like learning how to let go of some control and just be in the beauty, be in your beauty, be in life's beauty, and trust that your authentic awareness and consciousness and knowings and intentions are right. And so like let go and let that come to you. Let the universe bring it to you, right? You're now this magnetic force, so like live in the beauty of that and allow it to come to you. But yeah, I do think it might be hard, any journey, any new chapter, it's not just easy, right? We have to we learn things. And so I think there's going to be a lot of learning about how to let things come to you now. Trusting you're in your right energy, you're in your right knowing, you're in your right essence. Trusting the magnetism of that, the magnetism of knowing what you want, and not feeling anymore that you have to fight for it, right? You had to fight to know who you were, but now you can lay back and just be in the beauty and let things come to you. But not lose sight of that intention, of what that legacy is you want, what you're trying to manifest. Don't lose sight of that, and don't lose sight of your authentic self and what you actually want. Do the work of staying pure to that and connected to, and I think the way you're connected to that is things feel beautiful. You feel beautiful, life feels beautiful. When you lose that, get back into reflecting on what you went through to get to your authentic self and your core energy. Okay, so let's look at what archetype this is sort of bringing out and working on in you. We've got Knight of Spears. I love that. So yeah, it's just like be in your creativity, express it, let things let your fire, your creativity flow and express, and allow yourself to experiment, allow yourself to have failures along with successes. Like, that's not the point. Just connect to being engaged in life and expressing your creativity, having focuses, letting your heart lead you, right? I feel like this is a lot about, when I look at this card with Aphrodite, when I look at Knight of Spears with Aphrodite, it feels like these both to me feel like let your heart lead you and just have fun in it. Just express because you're so deeply in, this quality of worth and beauty and love and ease of self, right? And so allow that to help you drop into your heart and just express, right? Just meet life with some adventure. That feels like the right phrase to say. Just meet life with some adventure. Let go a little bit. Be more free. Okay, and then our minor arcana is 9 of Swords. Yeah, so it's not without its challenges. I think that you're going to have a lot to learn about letting go of control and worrying about outcomes. So how can you just be engaged with life because it feels like the right thing to do, because you have things to express, and find a way to not be so concerned with the outcomes of it. It's all being in the journey, not finding the destination. And the more you can surrender in that Hanged Man and not worry about the destination or manifesting this legacy that feels like is the stepping stone from the past chapter to this new change. Just because you have an intention in mind and a clear vision of what you want to manifest doesn't mean it's always going to manifest exactly that way. So how can you let go of control and expectations around outcomes and let life just be magical? Let life bring outcomes that surprise you, that may be better than you could have concocted had you controlled the whole thing, right? So like, let go of the expectation of the outcome, of what it is you're trying to manifest, of what it is that is even coming out of you. Just trust that as you express your authenticity and let it be free and let your heart lead, that you're in your right energy. And the universe will come and bring this legacy in the way that's right for you. And if you try to hold on to too much control, you get into your own way and sabotage it. So you will likely learn some lessons around that, of like getting out of your own way. Self-sabotage, having a lot of fear because you have certain expectations and outcomes you're playing off of, right? But what this chapter is trying to teach you is just so beautiful, and it more and more you get into this change of energy in life, the more and more you will learn how to let go and let your heart lead and let the universe meet your intentions, and kind of take over and bring things more magically, in a more magically orchestrated way, right? And just trusting that when you know what you want and you have really clear understanding of self and intention, the universe can bring that in such unexpected ways when you let go, in ways that are bigger and better and more beautiful and more enchanting and all of it, right? So yeah, some lessons to learn about that. But it feels from this past chapter a lot less fighting, though, with like inner tension, inner turmoil, inner trying to understand self, why doesn't life meet me? And it's just like, you know, where I am and just like fighting for what I want here, but like finally coming into this understanding of who you are. And so now in this one, it's like, now get out of your way. Now just let things happen. You know who you are, you know what you want. Now just let the universe bring it to you in unexpected, magical ways. So there was like a fighting spirit that this past chapter brought out in you, and this next chapter is trying to put you more into this spirit of flow and ease and beauty and heart-centered expression. Okay, last card. What overall is the purpose of this new energy you're coming into, this change of energy that you're shifting into? What is the underlying purpose for this in terms of like why you're going on this journey? Indecision. I use my intuition in all aspects of life. Yeah, and that feels very connected to the Nine of Swords, where you can have a lot of like worry and insomnia and you know, mental health issues of like trying, you know, just letting your mind kind of run away with assumptions and stories and ideas and whatnot. It's like, I think that the more you can move out of mind and the more you can move into intuition and heart, the more indecision won't matter, right? It's like, well, I know my heart. I know the overall kind of desire, intention, and I know my heart. And there's not much to decide after that. There's not much to... Once I let my intuition and heart take over and let the universe meet those where they're at, I can now surrender into the flow, and I don't have to have so much tension in me about how to proceed this way or how to make this work, or, you know, it's like all these control elements that come in with the mind create a lot of grappling and indecision within yourself that around things you don't even have to decide if you're in your heart and just into the flow of the universe, right? And so it's like, yeah, just the more you can trust your heart and your intuition, the more you won't have these like mental grapplings and feelings like you have to be in control of certain decisions and certain outcomes and certain direction and like a lot of self-determination. It's like, let go, right? Know your heart, know your intention, and let go. And all that indecision and worry and sleeplessness and nightmares and mind interference and tripping yourself up will just wash away. It'll just go away. Just hold your intention, let go into your heart, let the universe meet that where it is, and watch magic happen. Yeah, super cool. Okay, that's what I have for you guys. If this reading resonated, I always appreciate support with likes, shares, subscribes. I'm always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. And yeah, good luck with this new shift in energy. Great work on self-development and really like coming into knowing your core, authentic self and wants in life. Like, that's huge, right? So yeah, take that with you and enjoy this next kind of unfoldment of change of energy. I think it's going to be really beautiful for you guys. So yeah, hope to see you in future readings. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading all about what change is about to unfold. And you picked Guinevere with True Love. The romantic stirrings in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver great love to you. So we are going to tap into this reading that is looking at sort of a change of energy coming in through looking at the energy you're coming from in order to better understand the energy you're moving into. They kind of lead in one from the other, right? So this Guinevere is from the energy you're coming from. And when this reading kind of came to me, this felt like very long-term stuff. Like the chapter and the energy you're moving out of right now is something that's been like a many year kind of learning cycle, journey, chapter, whatever it is that you've been in. So relate Guinevere as you will. This is kind of like an overall theme. Guinevere, true love, the romantic stirrings in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver great love to you. This could be about self-love. This could be even just like looking at the image here. It could be just like really knowing how to meet life with more tenderness, how to respect the energy of life, right? And feel a certain tenderness for the energy of life force in general, which moves through everything. For some of you, this could be a chapter that was about understanding, romance and what real love means in terms of romantic things, romantic relationships, but it doesn't have to be about romantic relationships. This is just in general, like really touching into the true energy of love and the true reverence and gentleness with life. When you really respect the energy and the life of everything around you, you can meet everything with it's just such a greater kind of tenderness. Right? And it's just like overall to me, that's what this feels like, is this chapter of like really knowing how to meet life with a greater tenderness and a recognition of the life and the energy and everything around you. So a lot of empathy, a lot of tenderness that you've learned a lot about. Okay, we are going to use some tarot cards now, and I have this tarot deck that I've divided up into 3 different categories. I've segregated the major arcana, the court cards, and the minor arcana to get a little bit of a story about what this past chapter has been about, that you've kind of are coming to the end of your kind of journey through this sort of, phase, I guess. So let's get a major arcana to get a little bit more about the overall theme. Okay. And we've got Judgment. So this has been a lot about coming into greater sort of consciousness and awakening about the preciousness of life, the preciousness of respecting others, of respecting the life force that moves through everything. It's sort of like if you really, leaning into the romantic thing of like romantic partnerships, which again, just to reiterate, it doesn't have to have been about that for you. But when you truly learning those lessons of when you truly love someone, you want to see them thrive, right? You want to see them grow. And so learning how to put what that person needs in their life above your need for them. Your need for them in your life, or your need for them to be a certain way, right? So there may be a lot that you've learned about letting things grow in the way they need to grow, and that when you truly tap into understanding how to love something in life, it can be a painful lesson because you can sacrifice a lot. You can sacrifice your own need for them, or need for something, or need for, even like a friend to be a certain way or to stay in your life in a certain way. You may have to sacrifice how that friendship's been in order for that friend to grow in ways they're meant to grow, that take them in different directions than where you are. It's not like growing past you or growing out of you. It's just like they're growing in a certain way, and that certain way may be in a path that takes them away from you. And it's like learning how to love someone enough to see where their growth is needed, where they're supposed to be growing. And if that happens to be away from you, you can love them enough to let go, right? So that's just a metaphor. It doesn't have to be about other people in terms of love or friendship. But there is this thing about truly understanding what love means, and going through some, like, you may feel like over the past years you've hit your head against the wall over and over and over, learning the same lessons over and over and over, whether that's been about you having to better learn the true energy of love, or putting yourself in environments where people don't truly understand love, right? Could be even a little bit of both. But it's like you've come to a graduation with this. You get it, right? You get it now, like what true love means. What meeting life with tenderness, what meeting life with the ability to let go of things for their own good, or being let go of for your own good. That can, go the other way too. Or it doesn't have to be letting go. It can just be like really knowing how to, like, going back to maybe a romantic partnership example, recognizing that, like, maybe who I thought this person was when I fell in love with them isn't reflecting who they seem to be becoming, and tapping into the love you have for them to let go of certain expectations that have, you've come to see were a little bit illusory because of maybe assumptions you made, or maybe they've become a different person. So you could initially have felt sort of bamboozled a little bit, like they presented themselves in this way, but that's not who they're becoming, And it's like we all change, right? Learning how to let go of assumptions, expectations I placed on someone because of assumptions I made, and learning how to let someone grow out of something they used to be into something they're becoming, even if that looks different than what I fell in love with. But I love them enough to let them change, because that is their path of growth. And so I may have to re-fall in love with them again, or let this fall apart, right? I have to kind of see who they're becoming. But there's enough love here that I can allow them to change. I can allow expectations to shatter and see who they're becoming, or allow that to happen for myself. I'm changing, so I need to be around people that can let their expectations of me shatter, because I've changed. It can go both ways. But like when you can find that true love, you can allow things to change. You can shatter expectations and let go of things, and really respect the path of growth for yourself and for others, and meet things with a greater tenderness in life. Okay, so let's look at the court card that we just got, that we will see what kind of like archetype in you this has been working on. And we have the Queen of Spears. So really something in relation to this having to do with you. I don't know why this is coming through, because I think it's this difference that I'm feeling in the images of the Queen of Spears versus your Goddess Guinevere. For whatever reason in this circumstance, I'm feeling this Queen of Spears having like these kind of hard expectations, like fierce, fiery, passionate expectations. And so that archetype of like knowing how to sort of bend life to your will, being able to kind of let go of needing to do that, let go of like needing to bend things to your will, and trusting some kind of higher source. So it's like a level up. I'm feeling here a level up in the Queen of Spears energy, coming from a like slightly, I don't want to say it's an immature Queen of Spears, but a less mature Queen of Spears than you have developed into, where it's like moving into this phase. It's like certain expectations that came from personal desire and this ability to kind of like bend the will of others or the universe or how life is moving to your inspiration, to your energy, to your passions. But like stepping, like graduating into this like higher version of the Queen of Spears where you're bending to the will of the universe because you trust it, right? Because you trust the fire of creation and a higher source. It's like you've plugged into a higher source, so you no longer need to bend things to your will anymore. And it's not like having your will bent. This isn't like you now being manipulated, but there's just like this letting go, this greater trust of like being plugged into source energy better, which has allowed, like it's expanded the passion you feel in life to be more broad and more open-minded and more higher-minded, right? So it's like a higher-minded Queen of Spears. I don't need everything to go my way. I can still be passionate and inspiring and have kind of a fierce effect on life. But I can also come from a higher place where it isn't about me, though. And I can see the fire of the universe and how it's moving, and I know how to nourish that now, how to let go and let other people's fires or the fire of a certain flow of growth move towards its growth, move towards where that fire is enhanced, rather than trying to control it. So it's just like a higher minded fire energy coming through you, that, you know, it's something that's you've gone probably through a lot of experiences to get there, right? Okay, so let's get the minor arcana card now to get a little bit about sort of like the environment. And we have 7 of Grails. Shifting environments is the word that came out for some reason. Yeah, it's sort of like you may have learned a lot of lessons in the energy you're coming out of around false, like not like learning a lot about the like what's on the surface of things and how people and circumstances present themselves is never what's really there when you actually drink from the cup, or build a relationship with that person or commit myself to this kind of environment or job or city or, like whatever it is. It's like nothing ever is how it initially seemed. And now you know how to not place expectations on the surface, onto assumptions, onto the surface of things, onto how things appear. You're able to kind of see the like a deeper aura around things of like, yeah, whatever's on the surface, I know to look past now. I know how to look past that and into things now, because I've experienced a lot about what it means to either be judged in a surface way or to judge things in a surface way, either to hold expectations about myself in a certain way or expectations about others in a more surface way. There's always so much more beneath the surface that is always going to look very different than the surface. And that's something you've learned, that like the surface is never the true representation of anything. And so you've learned how to give things time to develop. You've learned that it takes time to truly love someone or something, because you have to get into the depth of it, right? You have to, and I also feel like there's this energy of having learned a lot about trust, and that trust takes time to get into someone's sort of like confidence and understand their private world. It takes time to do in an authentic way, and it oppositely, you understand that even if I immediately like this job offer or this potential friend or this potential suitor, there has not been enough time and due diligence yet to know if they're actually trustworthy, because all I'm actually seeing right now is the surface. And I think you've learned a lot of lessons about that, of like, even though there's this initial chemistry or resonance, I've learned that I need to take my time before I trust that, because I need to see trust unfold. I need to see patterns of behavior. I need to see track records. I need to see, it's just like I'm not just giving things away for free anymore. I'm not giving my heart or my trust away for free anymore, because I've learned a lot of lessons about surface appearance, never being exactly as it appears, right? And it's like you've had this big awakening with it, of that, like, to maturely develop that trust and that love in things, to let things more into my heart and into my private energy. I need to see well past the surface and the appearance here. I need time, I need space, I need experiences to really, and it's not this thing of like being overguarded and skeptical. It's just a wisdom that's come through of like, I kind of know intuitively when I've seen a deeper part, and sometimes that happens faster or slower with certain things, but I understand, like I know what it means to see something deeper now. I know how that feels, and I know that I need to get there before I really truly can give true love to things. I can have fun and be playful and develop superficial things and light things, but I know how to categorize that, and I know how to not place too much trust in that too quickly. Doesn't mean I can't still have fun with it, but I know what it means to really switch from like and flirtation to trust and love. I know the difference now. Yeah, so let's get another card about this chapter that you've learned a lot about, that you're leaving behind because you've graduated from it. What is like the deeper purpose of this in your life? What was this about? Loneliness. I know that I am never alone. That's so interesting. And what I feel about that is that, like, I just get this sense that this is a group that has, like, you may be sensitive souls, you may be very empathetic souls, and it has maybe in the past been very easy for you to trust too quickly, to like too quickly, and that's led to, like, maybe being taken advantage of or something. Or oppositely, you placing kind of expectations too quickly on others. And that's kind of created like weird imbalanced or more surface type relationships that have just never held up to expectations. And so this sort of feeling of like how, you know, just like I'm never quite getting to those deeper relationships I crave. And it's like, and it could be both of these things, or it might be one or the other. And it's like, because too quickly you're placing expectations on people before really knowing them, or too quickly you're trusting others when you haven't taken the time to really know them. And so pretty quickly relationships and friendships have gotten complicated and murky, and what do I trust, and like this person isn't who I thought, or I let this person in too quickly, or, you know, like whatever it is. And so like there's never this depth that's really gained because so quickly things have gotten kind of weird, right? But it's like now you've really understood this quality of like taking your time, waiting to see below the surface before letting someone from superficial friend to deep friend, right? Maybe before there wasn't a distinction. Once they become a friend, you're just this open book. Or once you're a friend, you expect them to be an open book. You know, it can go both ways. And it's too quick, right? It's too much trust and too much truth too quickly. And things then never turn out because that's based on all these appearance things and not something deeper. So yeah, I feel like you're coming into like really waking up to this lesson of like taking your time with things to really know what's under the surface before you open or expect someone to open yourself, or expect someone to open like that private life and really develop those true feelings of love and tenderness and trust, right? So learning a lot about how to cultivate real, true, loving kinds of all sorts of relationships, versus kind of superficial ones that, although are fun, got tricky. They weren't quite true. There was a lesson of learning how to like move from relationships that weren't quite true into just like really, really much deeper, trusting, right relationships is sort of ultimately what's being felt here. And relationships doesn't have to be people. Relationships can be jobs, right? Relationships can be neighborhoods. Relationships can be... So it's like, how do you ask more questions? How do you do deeper research? How do you find those deeper things about a job opportunity or a neighborhood you want to move to or a house you want to move into. Like, how do you do that deeper work and take your time and ask more questions to get below those surface appearance things? And it's like, I think you're really waking up to something here. Finding the right method for you, right? We all probably do this in different ways, but I think you've learned some lessons where you're like, oh, I get it. I get why things have gotten weird for me for so long with whatever this means to you. And actually going slower and actually expecting more information or distance or time is the thing that really helps me to see certain patterns that I know I need to see now before I can really let in that quality of love and trust. Cool, beautiful, amazing, huge lessons to learn. A lesson that I don't think everyone learns in life at all, for sure. There are people that have never kind of understood this. I feel like this is a lesson I've actually recently learned myself in some ways. Okay, so let's see. You're graduating this. Let's see where you're going. What is the new energy, this new energy that is about to unfold as you leave this energy behind? Rhiannon, Sorceress. You are a magical person who can manifest your clear intentions into reality. Beautiful. I do know a little bit about, and we're already like at the amount of minutes that I took to do the whole reading for the other two piles. So I'm going to try and be quick here, but I don't know. You guys just might have an extra long reading. But I do know Rhiannon's mythology a little bit past just what's on this card. To distill the message I need for this reading is she's someone that knows that, and it works so well with what we just talked about in what you're coming out of. She's someone that knows that she has a certain quality about her that makes her different. So she's a goddess, and now she, in her mythology, she marries a king and she's living amongst the human realm. And it's easy when one of us is not like the others, it's easy for the others to project anything they want to disown onto the other. But Rhiannon knows that with space, time, and distance, the true nature of things is always seen. So she has some blame placed on her that wasn't accurate. And she just kind of took the punishment and trusted instead of trying to fight. Because she was such an other, she knew that to put up a fight might just create more stickiness, more complications, more judgments. She just trusted that with time, people would see the true nature of what really happened and the true nature of her. And that was accurate. People did see that she either wasn't or couldn't have been blamed for what she was blamed for, and that she was this really benevolent factor, and that something unfair was put on her and she became beloved, right? And she just understood that the true nature of things are seen over time. And that completely connects to what I was talking about in the chapter you're coming out of. It takes time to see the true nature of things. The true nature of things cannot be seen immediately. And there's something you are understanding about that. And this may even reflect to me why loneliness came up for the past cycle you're coming out of. Maybe you are someone that is a little different than the people you tend to be around. And so you're understood in a strange way. And so maybe you've longed to connect with people, and so too quickly placed your trust in them, or too quickly, just to feel a sense of belonging, too quickly tried to move relationships inappropriately forward, inappropriately into trust, inappropriately into love. And now it's like you've come into this maturity of like, maybe I am a little different, but I know I'm lovable. I know I'm just someone where it takes time for somebody to really get to know me, and I take time to get to know others, and I shouldn't speed that along. I now understand the reason why there's patience needed, and I'm fully strong enough and capable enough to let patience be there to really build something real. And when people see my true nature through time, space, distance, all of it, when I'm seen for what I am, I bring in really, really true and really, really deep people who are also as pure and beautiful and magical as I am. Because they wouldn't be able to see me in my truth unless they had some certain qualities themselves. Okay, so let's do your major arcana tarot for this new energy you're about to change into, or the change of energy coming in. So a little bit more about this through the temperance. Yep, taking your time, being patient, being measured, but knowing temperance is this total magical card like Rhiannon. Knowing patience, knowing trust, knowing your strength, knowing your power, knowing your benevolence, knowing how amazing you are, and that no one deserves your love unless they're worthy of your love. And knowing how to have the patience and the magic to find the right alchemy, the people with the right alchemy and the right alchemy with people, and knowing how to take your time to develop things. Because doing it this way is bringing so much more depth and power to the love you build with people and generate in your life. And it's like, so the relationships coming in and the way that you are going to start building love in your life is going to be, true, deep, and just like so bananas powerful. I think you are going to find some really, really empowering situations. However this relates to you, whether it is literally relationships, friendships, relationships, love relationships, jobs, home, neighborhood, whatever you're building a certain depth with, right? Letting into your life, everything you let into your life is going to be super empowering and super potent and super wise. And it's just like creating this foundation for life to hold only potent opportunity as well, right? There's this power oozing off of you in the way that you're starting to build love and trust and relationship in life. Okay, so let's get a court card to see kind of like what archetype this is bringing out and working on in you, or is going to be. And the Emperor, taking charge of your life. Yeah, knowing, you now know what to trust. Oh, shoot. This is a major arcana. I gave you guys 2 major arcana cards. Well, this works for an archetype, so that's fine. We just won't do a court card. Your archetype that's being worked on is the Emperor. And so it's like just like really knowing how to be patient, how to sit in your power, how to be commanding. And when I think of the Emperor too, like there's this kind of like, I don't care if everyone likes me. I just want to find the true things to like, the true things to build with, the authentic things to like, the authentic things to build with. I don't need everyone or everything to like me. I need authenticity. I need to be true to me, true to others, true in relationship. There is no BS taken by the Emperor. Like it's either right relationship or out. Like I don't really care for the superficiality. I don't need 1,000 fans. I maybe worked on that before and that just led to loneliness. I need things that have been through the fires, that have been tempered, that have been built correctly, authentically, deeply, powerfully. And you are coming into command of your life, right? You are now designing your life. And then 3 of Spears, yes, your ship is coming in with this new chapter. You're in the right direction. Fortune is favoring you with this energy coming through. It's really beautiful. So it's interesting because the other 2 piles, like, you know, the change of energy coming in, there's always growth to be had, right? So there's always challenges too. I see less challenges in yours than the others. I feel like, you know, like with Judgment, that was such a powerful card to come out in that the energy you're leaving. But with Judgment, it's like you've learned such an amazing, big, huge, powerful lesson that I feel like the challenge you're coming into is just the challenge of building life the way you want it built. But I think you know exactly how to do it. It's just time. Like your challenge in this is just time. It takes time to build this, right? So patience and time, but like, you know that you're in it, you get it, you're not fazed by it. You have the long view here, you're coming into your strength, and it will just take time to build out of that strength, and you know that. But it's, yeah, your ship's coming in though. It's your time. Okay, so last card, let's get the overall kind of purpose of this new energy that you're going to be stepping into, or this change that's coming in. Abundance. Totally what I was picking up on, for sure. I am a limitless being and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. Truth. You are no longer trying to manifest, just to feel belonging, just to fit in, just to be accepted. You're done with that. You're building with such truth, patience, depth, and power that all you magnetize is that back, and it's abundant. I love that. This is such an amazing reading. Good luck with this, you guys. I hope this resonated. I'm really excited for what's coming. It just feels like you're people that have just stepped into your strength suddenly. You've just like dropped in. It's like you've moved from this kind of feeling whiplashed by life and trust issues and frustration to just like dropping into your power and just like, I've arrived. No more BS. Okay, anyway, if this resonated, I always appreciate support, likes, shares, and subscribes. Always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments as well. And yeah, I wish you luck with this shift of energy coming in and hope to see you in future readings.